Kia ora, Internet.
Hello and welcome to the Sky Bear Game Podcast.
Live from lockdown.
Hey, my name is Claire.
My name is James.
And we have with us tonight...
Michaela.
Yay!
Yay!
Woo! So, we have here with us Michaela, who is... How do you say the name of your brand?
Mikatte music.
Lovely.
Yes.
And you are my composer for my next release, Her Gentle Highness. And I'm super stoked that you took the time to be on our podcast today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no. Loving being here already.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm super keen to hear about how you got into this as a whole career, this...
Journey to get to being a composer for Her Gentle Highness.
How does that happen?
Yeah, wow, okay. Not gonna go right back to the beginning. But
First song you liked as a preschooler.
Yeah, what did you sing when you were a toddler?
Was it Wheels on the Bus?
Yeah.
I remember singing like Black Eyed Peas songs, to be honest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, I guess with composing, it all started in high school, and I kind of wrote like a pop song that was kind of in memory of my aunt that passed away. So that was like,
right.
I guess I kind of looked to composition as a way of processing what I was feeling. And yeah, I kind of had a chance to consider, do I want to study accounting or do I want to study music at uni? And I think, yeah, in the end, the obvious choice was like, I'm going to study music and specialized in composition.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, what's next?
So how did you come from music to specialising in games?
Or even, would you even consider that like your main specialization? Do you perhaps do other media as well?
So I do like podcast themes, and I've also composed a soundtrack for a play earlier this year.
Ooh.
So I definitely dip into other things, but video games is like what I'm focusing on, what I'm trying to make a career out of, essentially.
That makes sense, because I've seen you at 2 conferences now. That would be quite a lot of effort to go to if it weren't your main focus. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I remember when you told me, when we were talking down in Wellington, you'd done at least one game before. I can't remember too much about what you were telling me. Was it Goodnight?
Yeah.
Teddy?
Okay, so like the first game that I composed for was a visual novel as part of the anime club at uni.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
It was never actually completed, and that seems to be like a recurring pattern with quite a few projects I've worked on.
No, I'm gonna break the pattern.
Yes, please.
Totally.
Yeah, so I've done a few visual novels. I'm with a group called Pixelinium, which does mobile games.
Nice.
Cool.
So, yeah, we have released one which is called Goodnight Teddy. That's kind of like a Halloween theme hack and slash game, but the ghosts are like really cute. And yeah, I had like a really fun time kind of doing ridiculous ghost noises for all the characters.
Nice. We like Halloween-themed games.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween-themed RPG hack slashes.
Yeah.
Peculiar genre in which we're interested.
Yeah, like my favorite Google games are always the Halloween ones.
You wrote the theme song and I think additional music as well for the Don't Forget to Bring Your Towel podcast.
Which is
that
where
right?
we met.
Yeah, so I met James when we were recording the Call of Cthulhu episode.
Yep.
Which was really fun. But yeah, so I composed like the main theme for Don't Forget Your Towel, and also like every couple of weeks with each new RPG, I kind of write another theme that plays before the main theme that kind of explains what the RPG is about.
That is so rad.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really fun
Such
doing
a small
different
world.
styles.
That's really cool. All right, so yeah, we met in Wellington. We were in Jess Woodward's workshop talking about leadership and how you would work with people. And as she was getting us, we were sitting together, and as she's getting us about, Claire, what if you were to ask Michaela to do music for you? And I was like, what if I was to ask Michaela to do music?
What about
for me?
that?
What
huh?
about that? Well, I know that I can, and because one of the things you were talking to me about was like it's hard sometimes when somebody doesn't know what they want. But I was like, well, I sort of do know what I want, because
I remember you humming that theme to me.
Well, okay, yeah. So I came up with the sort of ditty, if you will, that was the original tune. And if anyone, God forbid, played the very first demo, they would have heard the terrible ukulele plus glockenspiel. And what I didn't go with was there was a second version which had an extra layer of kazoo, which was just awful and very annoying. And after listening to it on loop for too much, I was like, no. Okay, this is too much. I'm done. I'm so done with this. So you've taken that and you've made it amazing. But please tell me a bit more about your process and the research you've gone into this game.
Well, wow. I guess it kind of all started with just seeing the art styles and kind of realizing that you've taken actual historic artwork and kind of overlaid cute little cartoon characters on top of that. So that's kind of like where my inspiration started, with like wanting to fuse different genres together. But I also kind of wanted it to have a real historical basis. So like essentially I did a deep dive into like 16th or 17th 17th
it's a blend
century
of many,
yeah, so like 17th century England, but also 18th century France.
Nice.
Right.
And yeah, just kind of seeing like what's happening politically, what's happening in terms of music. And it's the start of the Baroque period, I believe, in the 17th century.
Yeah, that's a major period that is pretty inspiring to me.
Yeah, so I listened to a lot of classical music, listened to a lot of like harpsichord music as well, and also like just as part of my research to try and bring it to like the modern period, I listened to like a lot of game soundtracks as well, to see what historically themed games are doing with their music.
Nice.
Yeah, so like The Witcher, Vampire.
I play that.
Yeah.
I definitely got that feeling from the track you most recently sent me, the royal one. And if you don't mind, I think I'll intercut samples of some of the tracks with our interview to show people what I mean. Because, yeah, that royal one, it felt to me like it was part of this sort of like sprawling RPG world where there was a journey, there was a sense of time passing, and it was just like, this is super cool and it's going in my game. Yes.
Yeah, so like a fun fact, that was actually the second royal track I came up with. The first one was sounding like a bit too generic, but I was like, I want to make it a bit like disturbing and just, a bit off kilter. So, yeah.
That is such a good idea, because I really felt that tension, and it had an edge to it of like, not all is well in this kingdom. Very cool. What about the tavern piece? What sort of games did you or inspiration there?
So that was definitely listening to The Witcher, because I love their tavern music.
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of like searching tavern music on Spotify and just listening to playlists of that. Just trying to think back to my process. There was another one that I came up with 2 ideas for, because the first one was sounding a bit sailory, I think.
It's such a hard thing to balance that, eh? It's a really fine line between those two. Yeah. No, I definitely feel that. Experiencing with other, like we had a sailor scene in a play that we did a few years ago.
We did Dracula the Pantomime.
Yeah.
And so we had nautical music for the sequence where Dracula sails into England.
And that whole, all the instrumentation, as well as the feeling of the difference between a tavern song and a sea shanty. It's a very fine line right there.
Yeah.
So well done, because when I listened to it, I did not get sea at all. I definitely felt like I was inland and in a wood panelled room, and I felt like I had a tankard in my hand. It felt good. It felt correct. Yeah.
So I think with that track I started with the hurdy-gurdy, like just trying to get like a really wacky rhythm on there and then just building it up from there. So I think I used like flutes and guitar. Yeah.
Hurdy-gurdy is the right choice, because I think if you go accordion it becomes too nautical,
Yeah. And like the hurdy-gurdy just has like a really cool, like if you play the same note multiple times, it sounds really cool as well.
So you've mentioned The Witcher, and of course, we met doing tabletop RPGs. So what sort of games do you like to play?
Oh,
Tell us about your gaming sort of history.
Doesn't just have to be video games either, because we do often talk about role-playing games and board games
role-playing,
on this podcast.
Yeah. I guess I do a little bit of everything. Like the first video game that I played was Guild Wars 2, and that will always have like a special place in my heart. Yeah. And the soundtrack is amazing as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Lately I've been playing, like on the Switch they have this NES simulators, and I've been playing that, and I've been playing this like, it's kind of like a Tetris game, but it goes
Dr. Mario?
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
It's like you have like a block, and the blocks kind of like build up, and you can swap blocks around, and you have to like match at least 3, and it's like very simple, but it's like very addictive.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it's called? Because we've got the NES emulator on our Switch as well.
The name is in Japanese. No. It's so tiny. It's okay, I can try and read it.
I'm gonna get on there and see if I can find it too.
I see. So you match up the different symbols.
Yeah.
So you've got hearts and diamonds.
But it's like you can only swap two blocks like horizontally.
Oh, yeah. It's demonstrating that while saying something. But you can also move blocks around, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Panuru de pon. It's panel de pon is the... what they're trying to say. Like, so it's panels. Whatever de pon means, I don't know, but yeah. Cool, I'm gonna try that. Oh, it looks super cute!
Yeah, it's really like with old games, like the game over and things is really harsh. And like, I've had to turn down the music because it just gets really stressful when like it's almost game over.
You should hear Claire playing Pac-Man.
Oh, don't even.
Yeah.
I scream.
It's because they basically with these old games they expect you to sort of play it casually and then stop, and then come back, a week later.
Yeah.
So there's no real save game feature for a lot of them. You just play
I really like,
and then you die.
Yeah, I like how you can like save. What's it called? Like suspend points in the
NES
games.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Because starting from over each time. Yeah.
Some of them are just unplayable without it, eh?
Yeah.
My last game, Wonderland Nights, is going to be on Switch eventually. Hopefully one day Her Gentle Highness can be.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good.
I, for one, would definitely appreciate being able to touch the speech options rather than have to click them. I've gotten way too used to touching things with my smartphone. Clicking feels like such a task now.
Yeah, you gotta like move your mouse all the way over there.
So primitive.
Yeah, so I guess other games I've played on the Switch, I've played Spiritfarer, which is probably the most recent game I finished.
What's that like?
It's like Stardew Valley, but you're on a ship, and you are, I guess, like taking passengers to the afterlife, I suppose. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's really sweet and it's really feelsy and just really satisfying play.
Oh,
nice.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's another great soundtrack. So. Yeah.
So what are the best video game soundtracks for you?
Oh gosh.
That's hard.
It's like, in no particular order.
Yeah,
top 5 with reasons.
No, not that strict. Just,
Yeah, no, just whatever comes to.
Yeah, The Witcher comes to mind because you mentioned that before. Right. I just think I really love the traditional instruments that they use. And I think it's basically a band that made most of the music of the game, which is pretty cool, yeah. Definitely another one is Breath of the Wild.
One day I'll play that. For no particular reason, this sort of wound up happening. I'm playing all the Zelda games, first one onwards.
Oh, wow.
You're going to end up skipping.
I'm going to skip. I'm going to wind up just skipping to Breath of the Wild or something.
Yeah.
But I just happened to play number 1 first. Happened to get my hands on number 2 and 3 and 4.
I think that point is called Christmas.
Yeah, I think that point might be called Christmas, where I just jump ahead to Breath of the Wild. It looks so good.
It is really good, yeah. I have periods where I just really get into it and just play it all day.
Nice.
So you never see me again, Claire.
I mean...
And you never see your Switch again either.
That part I might struggle with.
Yeah, not seeing me again, sure, fine.
I need time. This video game ain't gonna ride itself. Any other best soundtracks you want to shout out? Because
any that you want to shout out, Claire?
I could, but I want to let
one.
Michaela finish because I've got tons that I can say, but I want to let Michaela finish first.
I'm thinking about
if you want, I can say a few, and then maybe they'll inspire thoughts from you.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I was gonna shout out the super obvious one for a lot of RPG players is the Nobuo Uematsu phase of Final Fantasy soundtracks. Mm-hmm. So when he was doing them, they were absolutely iconic.
So what period is that?
So you're listening to one of the last ones he did,
number
Final
9.
Fantasy 9.
Yeah, the music in that has been.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did from 1 to, I want to say 10?
That's not a period, that's
it's most of Final Fantasy, yeah.
It's the majority.
Yeah, and no shade on the guys taking over, but his stuff was just really iconic, and people would... I remember it's definitely on the earlier days of the internet. People would have his music in BMG format on their websites and stuff.
It's kind of telling when you've got the video game franchises that you get concerts.
Yeah, exactly. You've got Zelda concerts. You've got Final Fantasy
which
concerts.
Zelda was something I was going to call out in particular.
Yeah.
I always love that.
There's probably been Witcher concerts, right?
Well, I know a weird one for me that I always liked. So back in the day, my first start video games after the Amstrad.
Yeah.
My first PC game was Warcraft 1. For some reason, my CD of one of the early Warcraft game, if you put it into a CD player, it would just play the soundtrack.
Oh, legit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had a few things like that too,
I'm not sure if the music holds up necessarily, but it was really iconic for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was part of that, yeah.
Yeah, it was part of being a teenager.
Wow, so I think
it was Warcraft 2.
I wasn't a teenager. I wasn't a teenager when I discovered Persona series, but it changed my life when I did. And then when I finally got onto Persona 5, only 2 years ago, I was just he did it again. Yeah. It's just... Oh,
I think anything where you can hum theme you hear
someone. I was just chilling out, and I just had.
Now it's stuck in
Behind the Mask. I had Behind the Mask.
Yeah.
I wanted to just chill out and listen to that because it really is just such nice, chillax music with that just that lovely little poignancy to it. And someone in the YouTube comments had said I've never even played this game and now I have nostalgia for it. And so it's just yes, that's exactly where you want to hit, eh? The music is so good.
I started playing Persona 5 recently.
Yes.
And I was actually giving some advice. I was giving some advice to people composing for video games and trying to get into it. And I actually used Behind the Mask as an example of good band music applied to games. So yeah.
Oh yeah. What is it about it that you what features did you say to people makes it?
I said it just kind of sits in the background when you listen to it. So there's elements of repetition. I think repetition's the main thing, and just the right combination of instruments that's not too jarring. But yeah, I haven't quite figured it out yet, because then there's also the track when you visit Igor, I think his name is.
Oh yeah. The Velvet Room, yeah.
And that's a really crazy track, but it still works well with the dialogue. So it's
Have you played any other Personas?
Only the 5th one.
Oh, okay, because that is the Velvet Room track. It is the same every entry in the Persona series.
Okay.
So it's a linking thing, a through line there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's operatic, and that's so strange.
Yeah. I always find those scenes like really annoying because like Igor just talks way too much.
He does a bit, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Skippable dialogue is fun. It was funny when a friend of mine at work was saying, "Oh, you've got to play Persona 5." And I was like, yeah, it's sitting in my, I've bought it, I just haven't played it yet. I was saying to him, like, I love Persona 4, like, I don't think anything could ever not Persona 4 off the top of my list. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, no, like, the music's so good in Persona 5. I was like, again, I don't think anything could knock Persona 4's music off the top of my list. And then I actually played Persona 5 and was like, oh, okay, I see.
Right, yeah.
I see. I think Shoji Meguro is his name, and he's done it again. And Lin, I think, is the singer that he always uses. Yeah, just such a good duo. Always knocking it out of the park there. And if you go all the way back to Persona 3, they really are very diverse in the styles that they do, those two. Because I'm pretty sure he always uses the same singer. Like, Persona 3 is almost like urban funk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange if you look at it now, where it's more jazz-inspired, I'd say. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Seems sort of jazz.
My terminology is, look, last thing I did was sixth form music. My terminology is right out of the window. But yeah, I can think of a couple more. Have you got any more?
Yeah, I guess the one that I always say is the Last of Us soundtrack. That's probably, I haven't actually finished playing the game yet because I get way too scared and I panic way too much.
Fair enough.
But
this is why I haven't actually played it, so yeah. But I should check out the soundtrack.
It's amazing. I think the composer his name is Gustavo Santaolalla, or however double L's are pronounced in the country that he's from. Yeah, it's just really amazing, and it's really simple in terms because he takes one theme and uses it in multiple tracks but expresses it in different ways, and so it's just a really iconic soundtrack in my opinion. And I just love what he does with it.
Cool, I need to check that out. I don't know, maybe this is like a super cliche one that I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the guy, Oblivion and Skyrim.
Right.
But of course.
What
it's
I really like,
Jeremy Soule?
Yes, thank you. What I really like about the soundtracks to both of those is that they're evocative and, like you said before with Behind the Mask, sort of unobtrusive, and they don't, definitely with the Skyrim ones more than the Oblivion ones, the melody doesn't impose itself too much. So much like how in Skyrim and Oblivion, you are making the decisions as a character, you can sort of like player insert, like it really is player insert. Yeah.
Author insert.
Yeah. It is, it's a very much a player insert game. Same thing with the music, like it's not saying like, at this moment, you must be doing a heroic thing. It actually sort of suits whatever is going on.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I mean, it's broken up in categories like exploration and fight stuff, but it's, I don't know, maybe that's too cliche of me to say. There's strange ones, because I don't know how you master that fine line of unobtrusiveness. The one thing I will say though, and it's maybe sort of detriment. So Oblivion, I could sing you a little lit from Oblivion of like, this is a song I remember, a piece that I remember from the Oblivion soundtrack. I couldn't do that with Skyrim. It's almost like they're a bit too unobtrusive there. So, how much of it is
something that is memorable. Too unobtrusive then.
See, sometimes so if I'm studying or if I really just need to chill out, I will put those soundtracks in the background because they're so inoffensive.
Right.
Yeah, I fall asleep to those soundtracks in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they just sort of meander and they're like daydreams. Yeah.
Well, my next choice is one that's a little bit intrusive, and it's stereotypical answer for me.
Oh, sure.
King of Dragon Pass.
Oh, yeah. No, I love that too. It's stuck in my head all the time.
The soundtrack, because it's sort of a visual novel crossed with turn-based strategy, crossed with cattle raiding simulator. It's a very unique game, but because nothing is time sensitive, you can have music that's a little bit more intrusive because you're just reading the thing and you can take as long as you click the button, make your decisions. Nothing is timed. so it can just be a little bit more in your face. It's weird music, but it's a weird game, so it'll work very well.
Yeah.
I was just the briefest of shout outs, and this is purely nostalgia, but...
Is it Pokemon?
No, actually. I mean, there's Pokemon.
But
Pokemon's got catchy nostalgia tunes on it, sure. Oh, and I do appreciate how in Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee ones, they updated the old school MIDI tunes to, like, full-on sort of, orchestral arrangements, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
With layers and more complexity, and it was like, oh, hey, it's that thing that I've heard before, but it sounds really nice.
So what were you going to
I was going to say Tombi.
Oh, of course. Just like how of course I was going to say Dragon Path. Of course you were going to say Tombi.
Tombi is my favorite game of all time, and I can like play. I can do a speed run, clock it 100% in 3 hours flat, or
oh, wow.
no, actually more like 3.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a platformer from the 90s, and I just love it. It's dumb, it's campy, it's funny, and I just love it. And it's got some wonderful, upbeat, comedic, adventure-y tunes in it. Just shout out to Faith.
Nice.
So, apart from computer games, video games, what other sort of game into?
So, yeah, as we mentioned earlier, I've been playing a few TTRPGs.
Yeah.
I don't have a group at the moment, but we used to have a D&D group and used to do, like, quite a few one-shots with Azul from Don't Forget to Tell. Like, this was before we started the podcast. Now, like, every time I play, it's just, like, on the podcast, which is really cool because, like, they do such a variety of things. So yeah, we've done like a few world building ones, which have been really fun.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's not really something that I've dived into before.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So actually, compared to most of the people who I know are like just Dungeons & Dragons, but because of the podcast, you must have played an incredible range of games now.
Yeah. 4. Like, I haven't been on every episode. I've maybe been on like 7 now.
Wow, that's still quite a lot.
Yeah, I've been on, 2?
Yeah,
basically,
so
though,
done...
to get that range of different role-playing systems, I've had to go out of Auckland.
Rare.
I've had to go to Wellington, where people are a bit more experimental.
We specifically tracked down conventions to be able to do non-Dungeons & Dragons stuff.
There's a convention called Capcom that runs in Wellington every late January, which I highly recommend.
It's the best tabletop.
And they play a lot of
great.
They do play a lot of mainstream but not D&D stuff, but they also play a lot of experimental and even freeform stuff. So I highly recommend it.
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. You were saying?
I was just gonna like name a few of the ones I played.
Go on.
Name away.
I'm trying to remember the name of the Japanese one that we played. Golden Sky Stories.
Yeah. I played that.
Yeah, we played that at Capcom.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think that was like one of my favorite ones because it's just so wholesome.
So did you have a nice wholesome like nothing bad happened one?
There was like some bullying happening and like a death in the family, so I guess I think we like to be a little bit dramatic and tragic. So
our introduction to it.
Our one, the GM was like, this is not normally how this game is played, and our one was about the ghost of a kid who'd
died in Nagasaki.
Oh my god!
I thought it had been like medical experimentation.
Oh, maybe I forget.
In this compound during World War II.
Yeah,
it was dark.
Okay,
and we were these innocent little creatures who were like trying to like free his ghost so he could pass on. I think there were tears at the table. If I'm remembering rightly.
It was pretty like. We felt kind of impotent about, like, I'm just meant to be a cute animal, and you're telling me about all these horrors.
Yeah.
Were you the Tanuki, or...
I can't remember now.
Someone was the Tanuki, and it was pretty hilarious, because it was like, Tanuki go around, and, like, most of their shtick is about bouncing on their own balls.
Yeah, having massive comedy genitals.
And it was like, this is not appropriate for trauma of this level. But it was still good. It was a cool
game. I like the... Like, we gave each other XP for
being
cute, doing emotional reactions.
Yeah. My character was called Mikan, and I was a cat, like a really chunky cat.
Yeah.
So what were some of the other TRPGs?
We did Call of Cthulhu, that was fun.
Yeah. Honestly, anything Call of Cthulhu Lovecraft related is my favorite. So we played Lovecraft-esque as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you played any other Call of Cthulhu ones.
On a side tangent, have you played any Lovecraft board games?
Oh, we'll get to that.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Good.
Right, yes.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lovecraft-esque. I'm just trying to think what it was about. It was actually a really unique mechanic because the roles, there were like 4 of us, and our roles switched around every turn, I guess.
Huh.
So there was like the main character, there was witnesses, I think, or something like that. I don't remember the names of the roles, but
that is very cool.
Right, so
I've
took
played
turns
something that's
characters.
like that before. I haven't played Lovecraft-esque, but I've played something that's like that where we switch around who's deciding what about each scene.
Yeah.
Different details. That's super cool.
Oh yeah.
And then there's You're All John. Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Oh, everyone is John.
Everyone is John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is John.
Where you are all taking turns being John? Is that the...
Yeah, and competing to take turns to be John. And so John does stupid things because you're all John.
Oh no.
It's not a very serious game.
Poor John.
Yeah, so we've played Downfall and Fedora Noir, which is by like the same creator. And those are both kind of world building RPGs. So
cool.
Fedora Noir was really cool because we kind of build up this like film noir world that was like a little bit alternative. And that's another one where we don't swap roles, but we each have a different role. So there's like the detective's hat, which is like their thoughts. Which was like, it was a really amusing mechanic to have.
Is there anything particular that you'd like to try for tabletop games? Or like sorts of things that you'd like to try?
Yeah, so I really want to play more cute ones and more Japanese ones as well. Yeah.
I know there's a lovely one called Ryutama, which I have played, so I can't tell you much about. I just know it's another, like, I think you're all normal people going on an adventure. And so rather than being like, my class is a fighter, you'll be like, my class is a hatman. I'm a basket weaver. And we're all just like going on a journey, but it's not a particularly scary journey or dangerous. Yeah.
That
like,
sounds
historical
cool.
tale?
Just sort of like me as
okay.
You know, historical-ish.
Sure.
You know, lightly.
So, what were you going to tell us about Lovecraftian
board games?
Oh, yeah.
Lovecraftian in particular.
Yeah. So, also really love board games. And, like, I guess my favorite category is, like, Lovecraftian board games.
Yeah.
So, like, we go to the board games cafe, Cakes and Ladders. Well, we used to go there quite a lot to play Eldritch Horror.
Hey,
yeah.
So we've got Eldritch Horror.
Have you ever played Thos?
No, I don't think so.
I doubted you would have, because it's so obscure.
So old now. So, back in the day, you know Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when Magic came out, every other company went, I want a piece of that. And they all made their own spin-off, whatever license they had.
Right, yeah.
And the company who had Call of Cthulhu, Mythos, which is the Call of Cthulhu card game. And it's really cool. And really unique and really different. So you have stories to complete. They'll give you checklist stuff you've got done. And you just travel around as an investigator, going place to place, meeting people, summon monsters, cast spells. That sounds really cool.
Yeah,
and it's the rules actually punish you if you drive your opponents insane.
Oh, wow.
So the game ends if one person at the table manages to complete the story. But it also ends if someone goes insane.
Right,
But in all the rules, that you're strongly encouraged not to actually drive people insane. It's just meant to be something you do so that they have to take time out, go to a sanitarium and recover.
Yeah.
Have you played Mansion of Madness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much.
You love that one, don't you?
I haven't played it in possibly like a decade, but I really...
Over lockdown last year, I was playing Arkham Horror, the card game. But yeah, I really like how with just like the cards and the way that you lay it out on the table, it like really evokes like still the same, I guess, like the same feelings as if you're playing Eldritch Horror with all like the little tokens and things like that. It's just like I love how Lovecraftian games is all about playing with sanity, but also, and like, you know, with like your physical health and things like that, but also like the minute you start taking damage to your health or your sanity, it's like it all just goes downhill from there.
So is there anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, I guess I will plug my socials. So yeah, I'm under the name Mikatte Music with 1K 2 T's. And I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Bandcamp, and SoundCloud. Yeah, and I've got a demo reel on my website, mikattemusic.com.
It's a very good demo.
Thank you. And yeah, I think that is all. I am on the lookout for collaborate with more game developers and creatives, so yeah.
Well, okay, so we have a tradition here where I'll say bye and then James say, and keep gaming. That's like...
Or I'll get it wrong.
Or he'll get it wrong. That's also been a tradition. But when we have a guest, we invite guests to say, and keep gaming. So would you like to participate in this tradition?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so James, you and I say goodbye, and Kayla do the...
So, goodbye everybody. That was Skybear Games.
Bye!
And keep gaming.
Woo! First time.